The dawn of the 12th of February 2009 was a rather historic day for the Airways division as it caught sight of a careless yet equally creepy flight accident. How did this accident happen? What happened to the passengers on board? Is there a bigger conspiracy to the crash than what meets the eye? Hello everyone and welcome to Aviation Zone. I kindly ask you to watch the video till the end to find out what is the cause of this event. Fasten your seatbelts as we take you on a ride through the story of the disastrous Colgan Air Flight 3407. Subscribe to the channel to never miss another update from us. Did you actually know that you are more likely to die out of a road accident than a flight accident? Despite the stats being optimistic about the safety of air travel, the Colgan Air Flight 3407 misery was a story that sent a chill down passengers' spines for years to come. One of the chief causes for the incident was in fact a careless mistake on the part of the pilot, Captain Marvin Renslow. NTSB chairwoman Deborah Hersman said that the pilot's complacency and confusion resulted in catastrophe. Adding on to this, the safety issues of the airplane involved were also not fully up to date. In the cockpit on the night of the crash, Captain Marvin Renslow did not pay attention to the plane's speed, which was dropping dangerously low. When cockpit warnings indicated the plane was about to delay, instead of pushing the stick shaker forward to improve speed, Renslow did the opposite of what he was trained and pulled it backwards. He repeated this multiple times. The second in command, First Officer Rebecca Shaw, was not experienced enough to react to this strange behavior. It wasn't a split-second thing, NTSB safety investigator Roger Cox added. I think there was time to evaluate the situation and initiate a recovery, but I can't give you a number of seconds. Colgan said that both the pilots in command were given proper training and that the airline had taken a number of steps since the fatal accident to assure the equipment are upgraded and personnel properly trained. By all accounts, Captain Renslow and First Officer Shaw were fine people, Colgan spokesman Joe Williams said in a written statement. But they knew what to do in the situation they faced that night a year ago, had repeatedly demonstrated they knew what to do and yet did not do it. We cannot speculate on why they did not use their training in dealing with the situation they faced. But the pilots weren't the only one to be blamed in his scenario. The airline authorities were the real culprits. Before we continue to investigate this incredible event, I kindly ask you to subscribe and turn on notifications so that we can provide you with the most incredible aviation information. Let's move on quickly. The Colgan Airlines was reportedly using pilots with too little experience, inadequate training, and low wages to maximize profits for each takeoff. The pilots were severely overworked and suffered from intense fatigue. The two pilots of the Colgan Air flight both had toured from Seattle and Tampa Fly to Newark, NJ before the flight. Captain Renslow failed numerous flight checks when getting his pilot's license, but failed to reveal them all to Colgan Air on his application. To ensure such incidents are not a regular occurrence, NTSB issued 20 safety recommendations to avoid such disasters in the future. There have been some changes, not great large changes, but there have been some changes, said Captain Paul Rice, first vice president of the Airline Pilots Association. Some of the companies are really proactive and work with our pilot groups and are starting to improve their training and look into the training. When further investigating was made on the case, the lawmakers realized the need to establish a strict set of legislative rules to ensure the safety of the passengers. 1,500 hours of flying instead of the previously decided 250 hours for new hires was implemented on Capitol Hill. The rule passed the House but did not observe any action in the Senate, which has been consumed with healthcare legislation. FAA Administrator Randy Babbitt has said, "We need to have patience, and we understand that more are added, but we lost lives. We don't go home to our family like other families do, and we don't want to see this happen again." The crash killed all the 49 people on board and one person on the ground when the plane slammed into a house as it approached the airport near Buffalo, NY. Everything that could be done is being done, Colgan Air's parent company, Pinnacle Airlines Corp., said in a statement. As a result, we have taken more than 20 important and specific steps to further enhance our operations. So the question arises whether travelers actually feel safer in commuter airlines. To this, Nance replied, "When the weather's good, it's excellent," he said. When the weather is bad and we've got all sorts of problems, we come up against the question of whether or not these folks have enough training and whether the training has been imposed correctly and their fatigue fact. The incident is proof of how the tiniest of actions could have the largest consequences ever, especially when you are literally in the middle of the sky. Our prayers stand with the families of all the 50 passengers who lost their lives in the horrifying incident. So that's it for today. If you haven't subscribed yet, I kindly ask you to do so and turn on notifications. Thank you very much in advance.